Shortly before 4 p.m. in the UK, on April 19th, 2023, Discogs user James Loughton added a copy of Boards of Canada's rare, unreleased 1994 album Hooper Bay to their collection. Less than half an hour later, James began receiving numerous messages asking about the validity of his edition. Shortly after that, word spread of this coveted copy to nearly all the top message boards for Boards of Canada fans. Throughout the rest of the day, Bach fans pored over every piece of information they could, picking apart the details and speculating on whether or not it was real. The next day, several users came to the conclusion that this was yet another fake and requested that the entry be deleted from the site. A few hours later, denying that this was fake, James reached out via the site's revision page with a link to his YouTube channel where he provided a low-quality recording of the record playing the track Circle. This split the fanbase, with some seeing this as proof that the whole thing was fake, and the rest seeing an actual disc as proving it's the real deal. Burned by countless previous hoaxes that stringed fans along for weeks or even months with tiny snippets and cryptic messages, fans only wanted to hear the release in its entirety, and the video's comments filled with people asking for a full recording, a request that James would fulfill the following morning. At around 7:30 the next morning, 2 videos appeared on his channel, each being a full recording of each side of the record. Over the next day, discussion exploded about these videos, and thousands of fans watched the videos, now certain that they had finally heard one of the band's elusive early albums. The news and discussion spread across all social media platforms, and all people wanted now was a higher quality recording so that this music could finally be preserved and shared with the rest of the fans. Some remained skeptical, but most praised James for finally being the first person to show off these long-lost tunes. Re-uploads and downloads were shared, dedicated threads were made for analyzing what little could be heard from the shoddy recordings, and once devout deniers had become full-blown believers. Then, at just after 8 p.m. on April 21st, a 4th video was uploaded to James' channel, titled simply Proof. It was there that fans across the globe learned that this whole time, the person uploading these videos was me. Alright, let's rewind a little bit. Going back to about the middle of February 2023. Well, the original idea was that it was just going to be a quick gag and a regular video of mine. I was going to do a video just showing off my record collection, and I would have been like, oh, here's all my Boards of Canada records, and just Hooper Bay would have just been in there, and I would have treated it as if it was normal, like any, oh, here's Music Has the Right to Children, Geo Gaddy, Hooper Bay, and then just list it off as if it's nothing. It took us a while to actually get started on it. It was March 20th when we were finally able to work on it for the first time. So then over the next few weeks when we both felt like working on it and had free time at the same time, we put together the songs, made the artwork, stuff like that. And finally, it was all ready to go on April 2nd. That was when I submitted all the material to Kanaki.com and ordered it. It took 11 days to ship. It was April 13th when it was finally done. And the plan was to start the hoax right then and there. But as it turns out, the Discogs account I had created a week prior had automatically been deleted because I forgot to verify the email address. So I, made a new one and made sure I did verify the email this time. But now we had to wait another week to do anything because of the grace period that new Discogs accounts have, I think to avoid spam or whatever. But finally, on April 19th, 7:52 PST, my time, or just before 4 p.m. in the UK, I put the thing up on Discogs. So the second plan was to post it on Discogs under a mysterious account, and people would be like, what the heck? Who's this guy who's claiming to have this thing? And we were going to leave it there on Discogs for months. But then, the whole plan changed. We uploaded the thing to Discogs, and we're like, all right, job's done. We can move on. And then people started saying, oh, let's get this deleted. And we're like, oh, crap, we need to do something. If we want this hoax to go on, we need to do something. So I left work. I drove home from work in the middle of the day, and I was like, I need to film this video right now. I set up my grandpa's old record player from like the 70s, because I couldn't use a brand new record player. It doesn't make sense. An old digital camera from like 2004 or something, just so that the quality wasn't that good. And it was like, we chose Circle because it was the song that people had heard before. They could compare it. Since the audio was more recent than the artwork, people kind of forgot about how bad the artwork looked, and they just kind of ignored it. And they were just now focusing on, oh, is that real? It sounds like Circle. That's really weird. We didn't want to post the full recordings because we thought that as soon as people heard the other songs, we were like, it's over. People are going to hear these songs and like, oh, these sound nothing like Bach. This is so fake. I had to do everything as if I was like a 50-year-old guy living in Scotland. So I had to wait until it was like a reasonable time for him, for this fake, for James. So I had to stay up until like 1 in the morning to when it was like, I think it was like 7:30 or something. So I hit upload on side B, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to bed right now. I'm so tired. Went to bed, and I was like thinking, it's over. People are going to hear the tracks and then just instantly be like, no, this is the fakest thing. And the other thing also was that in one of the songs that Niski made, there's a loop that he made months ago that he shared with other people. And he was convinced people would instantly recognize it. So people would have called it off as fake and known that it was us. I was fully expecting that in the morning. And then, of course, I wake up the next morning, and there's just pandemonium. People are freaking out. People are totally convinced. They're thinking this is the real deal. This is it. I've got messages from the few people that I did tell about this. They're saying, like, dude, people are just hook, line, and sinker. This is insane. I find out it's on Reddit, it's on Twoism, it's on Twitter, it's on Rate Your Music, it's on Facebook, it's on the YouTube comments. One of the funniest parts of this whole thing is that everything I did that I thought would be a dead giveaway that it's fake, people turned around and used as a reason why it was real. Like the fact that it was lathe cut, I thought would just be an instant, no, it's fake. Boards aren't going to do a lathe cut record. But people were saying, like, you know, maybe they did back in the 90s, in the early days, maybe they did do lathe cut. And I'm like, I didn't even consider that. And the center label being just inverted on the side B, I was like, that's so dumb. Why would they do that? And they're like, yeah, that would have been a really cheap way for them to distinguish the two sides. Yeah. It's like, okay, all right, I guess that's proof. And in two of the both songs on side B sample the intro theme to the National Film Board series Hinterland Who's Who, and I always saw those on TV as a kid, and I always remember that little pan flute melody. I was like, that would be so funny to sample it in these fake songs because that's the most obvious crap. Like, I thought that was yet another dead giveaway. No way Boards would actually sample that dead giveaway thing from National Film Board of Canada. And then people picked up on that, noticed the sample, and they're like, that makes so much sense. It has to be really Boards. And it's like, oh my god, I can't do anything to give people hints that it's fake. So then throughout the day, I kind of realized that we should end it soon and abruptly. If I admit it, like, years later that it was me, and people have been believing that it's real for years, or even just, like, months or even weeks, people would probably be a lot more upset. So, once again, I left work in the middle of the day. On my lunch break, I left, and I filmed a quick video where I take a bite out of the record sleeve. And I have to say, that was the single most disgusting thing I've ever tasted. I actually practiced the shot a couple times with a different piece of cardboard, and it just tasted like nothing. It tasted like whatever. But then I take the bite with Hooper Bay. It was so disgusting. The whatever printer ink that they put on this thing, or whatever laminate's on there, I don't know. But in that video, I'm trying not to gag. It's so bad. And for at least 4 hours after that, I could not get the taste out of my mouth. It was so bad. It took not even a minute for people to see that this upload had happened. And then, 15 seconds later, people are like, oh my god, it's nasty, oh my god. And I was so relieved to find out that people thought it was funny. One or two people told me to go fuck myself. But, you know, one guy compared it to 9/11. That was pretty cool. But it was very funny to me just how much people's opinions changed. Some people that from the very beginning were like, oh, this is the fakest thing I've ever seen. And then as soon as I upload the full recordings, they're like, you know what? I think it's real now. This is legit. And yet again, I was very relieved to see that everyone switched once again to thinking it was funny, which was nice. Thank you, people, for being a good sport and not wanting to kill me. And Mike and Marcus, if you're out there, I hope this just shows you how much we want more of your music. Please release more. Thank you. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Beautiful.
It's from the Minute Maid Orange Juice Grove.
Hey, we can squeeze our own Minute Maid.
Oh, no.
As someone who was clued in on this being a fake from the get-go, it was interesting seeing it all come down from the other side. Boards of Canada fakes are a trend now. It's trendy to make Boards of Canada fakes. There's been so many, and there's probably going to be more. Not only that, but we did have a slight bit of legitimate news that day. I don't know if you saw, but Bleep uploaded a newsletter, and the wording in there, no, we don't know when the new Bok album is coming. It's like, when the... They know there is one. They could be going off of Baby Lulu's thing, but whatever. My point is, there was something legitimate, direct from the record label itself that was worth dissecting and talking about. But the fake completely took over the community, which, of course, right? That was way more entertaining and engaging than reading some article. The fake felt like there was a beginning, a middle, and an end. You had the beginning being the Discogs, and even the first video, I think, because when the Discogs got taken down, Biz was frantically trying to keep the thing moving, so we had to make a short video. The middle being side A and side B. I don't think people were expecting him to go all the way and upload the entire album. And then the end being the proof video. I think it's fantastic that it happened like this and that there wasn't much of a wait. I mean, let's be honest, it's cruel to drag these things out months and months and months. People still believe the thrift store thing is real. It's silly. If you're gonna mess with people, please have an ending. This was only ever meant to be a shitpost. I've seen a lot of people concerned that Biz and Niski were going to try and make some money. That was never going to happen. I do wonder what Boards of Canada think of all this. Something tells me they don't care. There's a reason why MDG doesn't speak up about any of the fakes anymore. For all intents and purposes, those old albums just don't exist to the band anymore. I don't think they want to acknowledge them. I think we should stop looking for them. And let's be honest here. If there's going to be a box set, it's not going to be full of those old albums. It's going to be full of odds and ends from anything made from Music Has the Right to Children onwards. I'm sure they've made a lot of music in the past 25 years that would probably make a lot more sense on the box set than any of their old material. There's a lot to learn here about misinformation and looking for old material that you really have no entitlement to. But at the end of the day, what we should really take away from all this is let's just look forward to the next album, because Hooper Bay is not the album that you're looking for.